Welcome to Material Retail Dumps Episode 7. This is the first episode in a series of episodes about hiring, retaining, and engaging employees. I think managing employees is arguably the most important and challenging part about being a business owner. Whether you have one employee or 100 employees, you'll want to tune in. In the first episode, we'll speak with Rachael from Wystle in Oklahoma. Rachael will answer a few questions and shed some light on her very unique way of tackling these challenges. All right, so today's guest is Rachael from Wystle in Oklahoma. Rachael has been a business owner for a long time, and I'll let Rachael introduce herself.
Thanks, Elliot. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. Yes, I'm the owner of Wystle Boutique in Shawnee. We are an all things gift shop.
Nice, that's awesome. So jumping right in, I've seen the hashtag Wystle Dolls for Life a lot. And there's not a lot of retail employees that want to identify with their jobs. So first, tell us what a whistle doll is and how'd that come into being?
Sure. So I started the business 7 years ago, and I had a pretty young staff at the time, and I wanted to refer to them as something tied to the business. And so they actually self-named themselves as the Wystle Dolls. It was kind of a time when the Kardashians were doing their boutiques about 7 years ago. And so everybody was kind of identifying with that retail. I know that was a short blip, right, for like 2 seconds, but my Wystle Dolls have owned it. And now they run a hashtag called Wystle Dolls for Life. They also have their own private Facebook page. They call themselves like Wystle Alum. And then they use that network to continue to get jobs or share jobs for those that, now 7 years later, they're in different places in the retail business, anywhere from, buying handbags for a major brand to managing and being the trainers at another retail brand. And so as they've grown, they've used the Wystle network to continue to pursue their careers. And so it's really great. I love my Wystle Dolls. They start with me when they're much younger, anywhere between like 15 and 18 years old. And some of them, I've got them in California to New York and kind of everywhere in between. And they all started right here in Oklahoma.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really cool to see how you think about your employees as not only employees, right? They're people,
Yeah.
and it's really cool how they form their own community around your business, and that must be really helpful. Um, so we've been hearing from a lot of business owners that it's been really hard to find and retain workers. So A, have you been having those issues? And B, how did your Wystle Dolls help you deal with those issues?
Yeah. So, I own multiple businesses, as you mentioned, and yes, finding great help is a challenge for all of us, with there being about 2 million more positions available than there are people. And so, yes, I get it. But with Wystle, I do have a unique situation in the sense that, most all of my Wystle Dolls that started with me at the beginning of COVID, if their school arrangement has remained the same, they're still with me. They've been kind of through the trenches with me, which part of my model is to teach them how to run a business. And so I was actually really inclusive with them in the decisions I was making during COVID. So they helped me decide whether we were going to stay open or close, or whether we were going to wear masks or not wear masks. And so they got to be a part of that decision. And so I think that also created another layer of loyalty from them. But the other part is no one working for me at this time is working for me just for a paycheck, right? So the greater goal of Wystle is that if they agree to work with me for 2 years, my plan for them is that after 2 years, they'll both have the confidence and the skill sets to run their own business if they one day choose. And running their own business may be the business of their home, or it may be a boutique, or the little girl that I interviewed today, she one day wants to own her old nail salon. And so the idea is that they're learning how to run the business. And I think what I find today, especially from millennials and younger, is that if we can explain to them why they're doing the job, there's just another layer of loyalty that comes from them. My generation, we went to work and we just stayed because the boss said so, and we stayed longer than them because that was the rule. And it was a different programming, where now they're not going to stay just because that's what it looks like the right thing to do. They actually want to understand why they're doing the things they're doing. And so I think that my training model is really a great fit for the millennials and younger right now, because that's actually how they want to work. They want to work at a place where they know why they're doing what they're doing.
Right, right. Yeah, gone are the days where you could just tell someone to do something and they do it.
Right, right.
That's totally gone. So, how long does the average whistle doll stay with your business?
So my goal for each of them when I hire them is to try to keep them at least 2 years. And so knowing that I'm dealing with high school and college students, 2 years sometimes looks like 2 years, and sometimes that looks like 4 years, but holidays and weekends kind of thing. And so across my staff right now, I have those who've been with me that just started in the summer of this year. And then I have 3 girls who are in either their second, third, or fourth year of college. And so I try to keep them 2 years, because as boutique owners know, I mean, the onboarding, the teaching them of the product and the POS system and your systems, I just try to be super careful on the front end, because if I get them on board, I really want to try to keep them, even if it means they, the girls that came back for the summer who just worked, June and July, I'll take them, right? Because they're already educated on my systems. They know what I expect, and they can train the next gen. So I'm looking for 2 years plus. But I think the important part that I remember and others remember is that I am an entry boutique, and they are on a journey through my hiring. And so they're never going to be with me forever. And the sooner I adjust my systems and processes to facilitate that and make that a pleasant experience for both of us, the better off I am. And so I know they're coming and they're going in about 2 years.
Wow, that's really cool. And 2 years is definitely long for, I think, for the retail world. Um, so obviously, it seems like there's a lot of benefits to having a program like this. And if I was a boutique owner and I wanted to start implementing some sort of program like yours, where would I start? What's the first couple steps you would take?
I think, Elliot, the most important part is like, what is your passion and your vision for your employees and your store? And you have to align those. And so my passion, my vision is I want to teach young women how to run a business. And it's the legacy beyond Wystle and beyond Rachael. And so the first thing I would say to you is like, what is your goal and objective? And that's the start of the program. The second thing is actually commit it to writing. Commit your program to writing. We all are more efficient and more dedicated if we kind of commit a structure to writing. And then the last thing I would do is, just remember the things that people did for you, right? And how that helped you when you very first started, and what do you wish you would have known, and start sharing. The one thing you can do is share the information and the knowledge that you have with other people. You don't have to keep it to yourself.
Totally. Well, I love that. That was amazing. Well, thank you so much. I know I could have went on forever with this conversation. I think it's great. We'll definitely do a part two one day. But thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Elliot.